Well, that was a good time. And for Phoenix Suns fans, your reward is you get the Lakers in round one. To talk about this game, I mean, there were stretches where it seemed like the Warriors were going to turn this into a blowout, to be honest. I mean, when the Lakers had the two big guys out there, a lot of the time it was Drummond and AD, sometimes it was Montrez. The spacing was just really rough. It forced AD to go one-on-one with Draymond a lot of the time, and Draymond was just killing AD. I mean, AD couldn't do anything, whether it was in the post. He missed a couple of mid-rangers, sure, but also like on rolls to the basket, Draymond was right there. And LeBron in the ankle, or just LeBron missing shots at the rim. I don't know exactly what you want to call it. The Lakers just had a really tough time scoring, but eventually, went to just AD. I think AD, did he play every minute of the second half? It feels like he did. And Vogel went away from Drummond and AD after about the 6-minute mark of the third quarter, and it was just that the rest of the way. That opened up cutters. You had Caruso and Kuzma cutting a little bit. We had a big AD cut off of LeBron attacking Steph in the pick and roll. I think it was Caruso who was the driver, who then made the pass to AD on the cut. It just opened up the whole offense. And besides that, you had LeBron, who was able to get a little bit more burst off the dribble, and he had a three in Wiggins' face. He had that crazy three-pointer, of course. He had the one drive, I think it was on Toscano Anderson, and there were some other buckets that I don't remember. Of course, he had some free throw trips. And besides that, man, the Lakers defense, they did what they had to do, which was bring a lot of attention to Steph. And even then, I mean, Steph had, 37 points, and there were definitely some gravity assists for the Warriors in this game. The biggest one being off of the Steph-Draymond elbow pick and roll, which resulted in, I think it was Jordan Poole getting a three, which made it a three-point game with a little bit to go in the game. But still, they did enough. There were enough plays where Steph had to pass it out, and then the Warriors had to go to something else, and it was a big reason why they committed so many turnovers in that third quarter. Some of it was carelessness, sure, but some of it was also like LeBron getting in the play. There was one specifically where LeBron just had his hands up, ready for Steph to make the pass out of the double team. And, again, there was successful attempts for the Warriors when the Lakers brought all that attention to Steph, but it was just enough plays where Steph didn't just go crazy, or the Warriors didn't just get any shot they wanted out of just double teaming or sometimes even triple teaming Steph. And that was kind of the difference. I mean, could the Warriors have done anything else on offense? I mean, Steph had 37 points, and I'm pretty sure it was pretty damn efficient. I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I don't want to act as if Steph could have done a whole lot more in this game, but I guess it could have been like, I don't know, maybe in the midst of all those plays in the third quarter where the Warriors kept turning the ball over, maybe just like a simple Steph isolation would have worked, because there were some isos. There was one where he took it on Schroeder. There was at least one other in the fourth quarter that I don't remember off the top of my head, but maybe like Steph isos. I mean, I know they would then bring attention to it, but perhaps because it's just Steph at like the top of the key or the elbow or something, it would have been a little easier for him to then make the next play, as opposed to like if somebody's setting a screen, then he's already got like one extra guy on him or something. I hope I'm making sense with all of this. But again, I don't want to imply that Steph Curry had to do a whole lot more in this game. I mean, the guy gave him 37 points and hit a lot of big shots and all that stuff. Yeah, what else do I have? I mean, the Lakers, what they did against the Rockets in the playoffs a couple years ago, they did it again in this game, just enough. I guess to just talk about LeBron and AD a little bit more, and just projecting for the playoffs, because, well, they're in the playoffs now. The Warriors, of course, are going to have to play who won the first game? Why am I forgetting? It was the Grizzlies, right? Okay, so for LeBron and AD, I mean, LeBron, it's safe to say he's feeling the ankle somewhat, because he just wasn't able to do whatever he wanted in this game in terms of just beating people off the dribble or just attacking Steph in the pick and roll as much as he wanted to. I mean, it seemed like they really started to go to that in the fourth quarter, and Steph was doing the hedging and all that, and we'll have to see. I mean, you think about Lakers Suns, which I will be doing a prediction video on, of course. Who's the guy that LeBron's attacking in that series? Is it Chris Paul, just in terms of size? I mean, CP is a very good defender. Maybe it's Devin Booker, whatever it might be. And it would just be nice if LeBron can just go to that whenever he wants to, as opposed to like, well, the ankle just not allowing him to do that all the time. Did he potentially not have enough lift on some shots around the rim on post-ups? Maybe. I mean, that's what I have to assume, because if it's not that, then LeBron just wasn't being aggressive for the sake of just not being aggressive. That would be a little weird, I feel like. I mean, yeah, he's not just pedal to the metal every second like he was in his Heat days or whatever, but earlier in the season, LeBron wouldn't be having like 7-minute stretches of like, has he been in the paint yet? You know what I mean? Which happened a little bit in this game. So we'll see with the ankle. As far as AD, I mean, he's not going to face Draymond in the next round. And he's probably not, well, he's not going to be facing Draymond at all unless the craziest thing of all time happens with the 7th and 8th seeds in these playoffs. So that'll be nice. You know, the AD post-ups, the AD settling for face-up jumpers or whatever, you saw how it can go really poorly tonight, where it's just like, AD, a little more physicality would have been nice. Now, eventually you got it together. He had some plays in transition. He had the cut play, some offensive rebounds, and he finally made some shots. But we did see that what Draymond can do, and you think about that against the Suns. The Suns don't have that guy. I mean, do we think Dario Saric is going to have a Draymond-esque performance on AD? No. Could Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, any of those guys? Probably not. Again, I mean, Draymond is pretty much one of one when it comes to just his size and strength and all that defensively. So that's good for AD. There was at least one play that I remember where the Lakers tried a bit of a curl play for AD. I guess that was an attempt to throw a different look at Draymond, and it resulted in a turnover. But perhaps that is a small preview of something we could see a little bit more in the playoffs if AD is having a little bit of a tough time. Besides that, it was him setting screens, which that's a pretty normal Anthony Davis thing to do. So yeah, man, that was a good game. I mean, I've already seen some people get on the refs, which is kind of inevitable. That's going to happen. I can't think of a specific call that like is really a big deal at the moment, but okay. I mean, LeBron had that one charge that was clearly not a charge, and they overturned it. They did not give Draymond a flagrant when he hit LeBron in the face. So I don't know. I mean, usually when the Lakers are involved, it's, oh, the refs gave him the game, or when LeBron's involved, the refs gave him the game, and, well, that's just kind of going to happen. And not to say there weren't any questionable calls, but I feel like, depending on where you go on the internet, you're probably going to find a lot of that. The other big one was Caruso in this game. I mean, he had one play where he stripped Steph. He had plays in transition. He had, I believe he made that pass to AD on the cut, which was one of the big baskets of the game when they attacked Steph on the screen. And then I believe he also had a cut himself. It was one of the early plays where they went to AD at center, opened the floor up, and then Caruso cut off of a LeBron pass. There was another one for Kuzma, I'm pretty sure. And, Caruso also made a three. He had that one weird one where it seemed like he alley-ooped it to himself. So, yeah, he was huge in this one. Wesley Matthews gave him good minutes. And the last thing to think about with the Lakers' big guys is, I don't know, man. I mean, when it really came time to win, there was AD at center and nothing else. So maybe that's a sign of how Vogel is thinking about the playoffs and the rotation. And I mean, you can't play AD at center for 42 minutes a game. I mean, I guess you could, but you'd prefer not to. So we'll have to see there. But yeah, it's a good game. Warriors now have to win one. I think they will win it. And, for Lakers Suns, the very early take is, you know what, Suns fans, it was a good season. I hope you enjoy this round one because, yeah,